Hey, good afternoon to everybody. Happy Thursday, Friday Eve, as Miss Connie would say. I want to thank you for taking the time out of what is coming up on a very busy season to join us today. I'm not going to take up really any time. I'm going to give this over to Wes Hyland from Devoted very quickly. Wes is going to take you through Devoted's 2026 plan designs, answer any questions that you have, and reiterate the fact that they will pay commissions on all plans in all states, which is very exciting. So he is going to talk about everything Devoted and the value proposition in why you should be selling and contracted with Devoted for 2026 if you are not already. So, Wes, that is enough for me, sir. I will give it over to you. And anybody who has any questions or comments, you can just take yourself right off of mute and interject those as needed.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Court. Really appreciate it. Thank you all for having us today and for hopping on, you guys. I know I've gotten to meet a lot of you over the years. If I haven't, my name is Courtney said y'all is Wes Hyland. I am the sales VP for Devoted kind of for the Southeast. So kind of Virginia on down through Tennessee, Alabama, the Carolinas, Georgia, on over through Louisiana, which we'll go into this year. And I've been at Devoted y'all for just over 3 years now, and spent a long time at Humana and some other carriers in the industry, and came here a few years ago. Y'all, if you haven't heard me say this before, really just because of I think I did a lot of research and a lot of exploring, and a lot of folks that I've worked with in the industry who I really respect who are at Devoted now. For the way the company is thinking about healthcare and trying to do MA. And if you've sold us at all, or if you haven't, that how we think about this business and this industry is really kind of different, I think, if you haven't experienced us, from really the way that anybody has done this, I think, from the start, over the last 25 years or so. And so that's why I wound up here, y'all. I think I stay here because I think that message that we get out there to try to deliver is one that we're hitting on most days and with most of your members and you guys as brokers who work with us. And so we want to talk a little bit about that today. And as Courtney said, really show you what we're going to have to offer for 2026, which we feel like is an incredible plan package, really across the country as we grow into more states and markets. And show you what that looks like, because we think it's pretty compelling coming up for 2026. Just a reminder, right? Everything that we talk about here today, especially when it comes to plan expansion, right, and any plan detail info, can't be shared, as you guys know, till 10/1 with any members. You can talk to other brokers about it. Courtney, right, the NCC team, all of that's fine, but can't be shared right out publicly on any social media or anything until 10/1. So I know some of you guys have met our founders before, Ed and Todd Park. Ed is there on the left. His brother Todd is on the right. They started Devoted, y'all, back in 2019 with Florida as the first market, and 6 little counties there with a mission in mind that you see there on the left-hand side of the screen. And when we talk about, like I said a minute or so ago, about trying to do things and think about things differently, it's really with that mission in mind, y'all, every single day, right? To dramatically improve the health and well-being of older Americans by caring for every person like family. And we'll tell you a little bit more about how we do that in just a second. But that's a picture of Ed and Todd holding their parents right there that you see. And as their parents were coming into Medicare and they were thinking about the industry and having had lots of industry experience, they said, we want to develop something that will help take care of our parents, just like we would as their sons, right? The best care for them at the best time, at the right place. And how do we do that? And that's really where Devoted, y'all, was born from. and why now, 7 years into what we're doing, Devoted has become the fastest growing MA plan in the country for the last 4 or 5 years in a row. So it's been pretty incredible to be a part of and see. Ed was gonna hop on for a second today. I don't know if he's here with us or not. If
Hey
he
Wes,
is,
how are you doing?
yeah. Hey, buddy. I'm gonna turn it over to him for a second. So the guy that you see on the left there in the picture, y'all, asked him if he could hop on for a few minutes today to say hey and just kind of tell you about I think his vision for Devoted and 26 and working with great partners like you guys at NCC and the support you've shown us over the first few years and working together. So Ed, I'll turn it to you, man, for a few minutes. Thanks for hopping on.
Wouldn't miss it for the world. So great to see you and so great to see everybody here. Thank you again, as Wes said, for making time during an incredibly busy run up to AEP. We know how busy you guys are, and it really means the world to us that you take a little time out of your days to come and invite us into your family. And thank you so much for the support that you've shown us in the early years as we've begun to scale the business. And we hope to bring just as much success to the areas that you're in as we're as we have in a bunch of our early states. But again, for those of you who haven't had the pleasure to meet, I've had Park, co-founder and CEO of Devoted, and it's just really, really terrific to see you. I want to give a little more motivation for why we started this and why it's so important, why you guys are so important to us. We started this back in 2017 because it was clear to us at the time that healthcare was getting too corporate. Like you saw it in the way that everything was being run. My brother and I grew up in the cornfields of Ohio. It's where we grew up. We just believe in family. We believe that there's a way to do things better. We believe that if you treat everybody like family, that everything will work out in the end. You remember like family-owned businesses. Like I remember growing up meeting Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, and like he built that business. Like literally for his daughter Wendy, right? Still one of my favorite fast food chains. But as you grow, like our observation was that when you start treating the healthcare like like completely a business, like it for sure is a business, but when you just corporatize it, right, which takes on a little bit of different feel, um, you start missing essential elements. And when you start missing those elements, what happens is you stop taking care of people well. And when you stop taking care of people well, they go to the hospital more, and that just costs everybody way, way, way more in everything. What we found is if you deliver great service to people, deliver great care, you really care about them, they tend to take care of themselves better. And that creates a sustaining business. So when you look at, for example, like in some of the markets, folks look at our benefits and they're like, well, that's not sustainable. The reason it's sustainable is because of our great service, because of the great service that you provide, and that we're able to be backup singers to you guys on. What is happening in the whole equation is that the members stay healthier, and when the members stay healthier, everybody wins. Like it's as simple as that, right? It's a stitch in time cures. It's an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. All that stuff is real. It's very, very real, and it's why we're here. And so, just going into this, we just wanted to let you know that we really value what you do. The relationship you have with each of your members incredibly important to us. And we want to amplify those relationships. We want to be a source of joy for your members. And we want to treat each one of your members like they are literally part of our own family. So thank you for being part of our family. Thank you for welcoming us in. We're really looking forward to this AEP and we're working with you a bunch more. It's going to be an exciting one, we think. But just overall, I just want to say thanks so much. We're extremely grateful to be part of your family.
Love it, Ed. Thanks a ton. Do you mind maybe with the crew, Ed, just giving a quick analysis of how you're kind of thinking and seeing 2026 shaping up for the industry as a whole?
Yeah, look, this AP, I think we're in the middle of a generational change in the industry. Like you see it, right? There were 7 years where everyone was basically go, 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 go. And like we saw a couple of years ago that that the industry had to start rationalizing and pulling back, and that you had to start doing that. There's a bunch of stuff. You probably have heard all the acronyms, but STARS, the IRA, V28, like there's just a ton of like things out there. But when you look at the collective uh, elements of all of it, what you come to the conclusion of is that things have to change. Things do have to change. And so I think we're going to see a generational disruption this AEP. We started seeing it last AEP, but not nearly as much as I thought should happen. But now, like you've watched what's happened over the last year, which is more and more. I mean, the easiest way of saying it is that more and more people are starting to behave funny, right? Like it feels a little bit different. It feels a little bit different out there. And the reason is because on the back end, a lot of the things that they've been trying to do for years aren't working. Like the models aren't working anymore. That's part of the reason we're so excited to lean into this. We're so excited to lean into this because at the very beginning, like we chose a different model. We chose the model which is to partner with members and keep them well, uh, not like the model where you basically add a corporate layer and figure out how to deny stuff. Like that's why we started it because our model is if we can partner with people, treat them like family, keep them well, then they'll stay well, and then everything works out. So from an industry perspective, I think that the models have to change. I think it's clear the models have to change. I think that the funny behavior from everyone is mean that the current models aren't working. And for us, we're just very excited to be in this market at this time. Everything about the way we've built the business was built for the long term. And I think that we're going to go in super aggressive this AEP. I think you'll see that as Wes continues to talk about what we're doing and as you see our benefits being released. And we're just very excited to be here with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ed. Thanks for taking a couple minutes to hop on. Really, really appreciate it. And we'll get you down to see the NCC crew in person here soon, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, I would love to see all of you in person. Thanks again for everything you're doing. Thanks for the partnership. I would love to be there in person whenever. And just looking forward to a great AEP. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ed.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. And so when you hear y'all Ed talk about that model, right, what he means, y'all, as he and Todd really thought about building Devoted, right, is these 5 what we call core layers. That what Ed mentioned, you're going to see really, really competitive, I think, health plans, across the country, which we're excited about. Health guides. So if you guys have never experienced us, or if you have, these are the folks who answer the phone, right? Every time your members call in, every time you guys call in and need something with our agent support team. But these are, we use the term a lot, guardian angels, right? The folks who, when your members call in, and Miss Jones says, hey, I'm having trouble getting a prescription, or, I'm having an issue with an ID card. Can you get me a new one? All those basic things, right? That can sometimes take a lot of effort, unnecessary effort for us as brokers out there, and then for members as well. That guide is going to take care of all of that for you. You also, the phone's going to be answered in 30 seconds in the US by our own employees who are going to have the answer for your member and be able to take care of them. And crazy enough, if they're going through all the information that Miss Jones may need and they say, hey, Miss Jones, I don't have that answer for you right now. Let me go find that and call you back. They're actually going to call Miss Jones back with that answer, make sure that she's taken care of, the issue is tied off, see if there's anything else we can help Miss Jones with, and make sure that when Ed says we want to take care of your folks like family, that is exactly what we mean, right? And these customer service kind of on steroids folks that I always call them are those folks who are taking care of your members like really probably nothing, y'all, we've ever experienced with any other carrier out there in the industry. And so that I think is probably the ultimate like layer of the 5 is those health guides and that guardian angel, aura they take on for us with your members and with you. But it's also really strong partnerships, right, with our provider groups. So networks across our areas, we're going to partner with those strong providers who are going to help deliver that care, right, that those guides can support. We have our own number 4 there. You see Devoted Medical Team. That's an internal group of providers. So PCPs, nurse practitioners who help to support our network of doctors. So if Miss Jones can't get in, right, to see her PCP because there's a 6-month wait list, we've got a group of PCPs who can do virtually all the same thing to help Miss Jones get what she needs, right, and get her taken care of, a prescription, a test, whatever it may be, that they can help support, right, that network out there in the field, that if Miss Jones can't get out there to see them, our devoted, medical team can help with that stuff as well. So it's kind of an incredible support system for our network of providers. And then how we do all this, y'all, is through that number 5 there. It's called Orinoco, and that's a software platform that Ed and Todd have really built from the ground up. It's continued to scale throughout the company so that everything we do comes through that one single platform, right? Also, that when Miss Jones calls 1-800-DEVOTED and a guide answers the phone in 30 seconds and says, "Hey, Miss Jones, how can I help you?" That guide is going to go to one single screen in Orinoco that has everything about Miss Jones right there. They can see the last time she called, what she called about, how we helped her take care of that, the last time she may have texted us to say, "Hey, I need some help," and we had a guide texting back and forth with her, so that guide can see exactly what all of that was about. So they see everything about Miss Jones right there and can take care of her because we only use that one single platform that everything at the company runs through, right? So all of the claims for Mrs. Jones, all of the time she's called in, commissions are paid out of there to you, all of that stuff that a health plan has to do. We only use that one single system to do it so that when Miss Jones calls in, the guide doesn't have to say, "Oh, you're calling about a claim. Let me talk you through that." Or, "I can't see what's going on. Let me pass you to the claims department," right? What you're going to find with Devoted is that's never going to happen. They're never going to get passed from department to department to department and then back to where they started. And the person say, "Oh, by the way, I don't have the answer," right? And then they get hung up on. The guides are going to make sure by using that Orinoco platform, they take care of all your members in a seamless fashion so that they never have to experience that pass off, pass off, pass off, and bam, right? Suddenly I get hung up on by you name it, right? And so what those 5 core layers, y'all, as we've grown as a company, have really developed into is this, right? That Devoted is now a top 20 MA carrier in the country at just about 215,000 members. We think that will grow pretty significantly again this year. And so you can see where we started down in the left-hand corner in 2019, as Ed said, in Florida. And steadily, as we've continued to grow right now in those top 20 spaces, that service model has continued to deliver, right? It's never dropped off because the company, the Orinoco software and the platform is continuing to learn from itself as we get larger. And so that as we scale right now at 200,000 members, we can still deliver that same level of service as we did back in 2019, right, when we only had 2,000 members. And so all of those pieces, y'all, have been built with what Ed just mentioned, that we really designed. If you take 25, for example, with, if you've sold us, you saw that on our plans in 25, we added Part D deductibles, right? We added a Tier 3 co-insurance. Things that, as Ed saw the IRA developing, y'all, the Inflation Reduction Act, that we really had to batten down the hatches in 25 to be prepared for all of these years ahead, right? Like 26 and 27 and 28. So that sustainable strategy with very intentional plan design, and all of those strong partnerships, like we've talked about, right? With providers, with the guides internally, with your members, with our network partners, right? To really drive success and not think about it year by year, but hey, how are we going to be successful and sustainable for you and your members for the long term? And so those guides that we mentioned, y'all, they're going to be those folks who answer the phone in 30 seconds, right? They're in the US, no chickens clucking in the background, right? They're going to have the answer because they're our own employees who are using our own systems, who are helping Miss Jones get all those answers she needs, right? So those service guides or those first kind of line of defense folks who answer the phone, we have a next level of community guides. If Miss Jones says, "Hey, I need transportation, right, to, you name it, a provider, Silver Sneakers, wherever it may be, and I don't have a car. Our community guides can help Miss Jones and link her up with local community resources to find any of those resources she may need. And then our clinical guides are an even kind of higher level step up, that if she calls and says, Miss Jones, I have a headache, I'm kind of dizzy, I don't know what to do, those clinical guides can take that call from Miss Jones, right, and kind of triage her to the right place, to make sure that we're really wrapping our arms around her clinically, and that she gets taken care of no matter what it is, right? A service issue, a community issue that she needs, or hey, it's a clinical situation and now Miss Jones needs help with that. And so all of that, y'all, has led to kind of what you see here. As we mentioned, that just about all of our calls are answered in 30 seconds or less. That first call resolution, right, when Miss Jones calls, is at 93%. So when she calls with a claims issue, or hey, I'm needing to get a med, can you help me? That we're going to resolve that almost 100% of the time on that very first call. And that if we don't, right, we're going to call her back and make sure that we get that taken care of for her. So it's led to an incredible trust score of 94% with our membership, y'all. And that last column, I think, as we continue to see this build and grow, it continues to build that trust, right, between member and health plan, that members can text with us, right? And the person texting back from Devoted is an actual person. It's not a bot, right, saying, hey, Miss Jones, thank you for texting and reaching out today. We see that you need help with a claim, right? Let me work on that. I'll get it resolved for you and get right back with you. It's an actual person, right, that's doing that texting as a guide to work with Miss Jones to get anything resolved that she needs. And so all of that leads to, y'all, right, when you take care of folks, you write competitively designed plans, you have a strong network. Our star rating, which is going to be the highest national star rated plan across the country this year at 4.3. You guys know, right, as you've seen star ratings continue to drop over these last couple of years, it's getting harder and harder to get higher star ratings. Medicare is making that more difficult. And so for the majority of our membership to be in a 4-star or above plan is a really pretty incredible feat nowadays. If you think about, right, following the stars lawsuits from some of the big guys and how those have gone, we feel really, really great about where we are stars wise. And it's going to give us a pretty nice tailwind heading into 2026 as well. And so for you guys, I think what you'll see if you've never worked with us, y'all, if you have, thank you so much. But you're going to see fewer support issues, right? So you don't have to spend your time on the phone resolving Miss Jones' issue. We're going to do that for you. You can say, Miss Jones, hey, call 1-800-DEVOTED, and they're going to be able to take care of this for you. That you can go out then and do your actual job, right? And find more business and find that next sale. And as you get more folks with Devoted, what we find, y'all, is that leads to higher retention for you, right? People sticking on the books because they really love and appreciate the experience. And then more referrals, right? As they experience Devoted and they start to say, hey, my agent, right, introduced me to this Devoted plan, call her and make sure that you hear about Devoted because it's been an incredible experience. So more retention, more referrals, right, less service for you guys, and then that strong reputation overall as we continue to grow across the current footprint and across the country. Some cool things. Courtney mentioned this to start, y'all. We pay commissions on every single plan. I think Ed would tell you, I should have had him say this earlier, we don't ever anticipate that changing. Our commission schedule pays weekly, and so you get paid as you sell, right, on a weekly basis. You don't have to wait till the end or the beginning of the month to get a lump sum payment. And so we know you're out there working hard, and we want to make sure you get paid for the business. In addition, I think number 2 is another really big one, right, as we all know that the AOR situation, right, where some other companies, like suddenly Mrs. Jones is yours and suddenly tomorrow she's not because she called in and got switched plans. First and foremost, for us, we keep the AOR with you. If Miss Jones should call in and say, hey, I'm on this PPO plan, right? But I've seen and heard about this HMO plan. I really think that one would be more beneficial, and I'd like to go with that one. Our internal team can make that change for you, and everything stays with you. No AOR changes, no commission changes. Everything remains with you. If they call in, right, and suddenly Miss Jones decides she wants to make a plan change, we'll do that for you. Everything remains with you. You'll be able to see that change in your agent portal, right? Any changes that we might do for you. So all very transparent, clean and clear, and making sure you remain the AOR in all of those situations. Our loyalty program, if you have sold us, when you sold your first one, you saw hopefully that $100 got loaded into your marketing portal. If you've sold and you haven't seen that, you've got that money in there, can guarantee you. So check that out. In addition, as you sell more, right, we load more dollars into your marketing portal. So you can get in, right, customize flyers, postcards. We've got all kinds of swag in there for you, pull-up banners, etc. So really nice stuff. As you sell more devoted, we don't want to make sure we're rewarding you for that. As you think about 26, y'all, Ed hit on this, right, that we really anticipate, y'all, and I hate to like drop this news right here. I wish we were all in person. But we really do anticipate, y'all, that 2026.
Thank you for joining us for this session of our Agent Town Hall. Due to the nature of the information provided after this, we have to put this behind our login section on our website. So please visit us at nccagent.com to hear the rest of this town hall. Thank you so much. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time that we upload new content.